Hey y'all, welcome back to my dating diary. This is your girl Elizabeth, and today we are talking about how do you deal with life circumstances? How do you deal with all the things and still manage your relationship with Christ and still take care of yourself? I'm going to talk about some things that I had been experiencing, how I used the word and community to keep my faith, because in this I've already had my faith, but these circumstances test your faith. It tests your relationship with Christ. It tests what you've heard. It tests all the things that you can possibly think about. And how do you still maintain your physical health? How do you take care of yourself? Listen, if you're part of this family, you're part of this community, and you have not subscribed yet, I'm going to give you the opportunity right now to click on that bell and subscribe to this channel. This is Life with Elizabeth, and I'm talking about all the things faith, dating, workouts, wellness, everything that comes in between. And today, I'm not on the road, but I am out. So I'm just running some errands. And I was reminded that I needed to record a video. But this week makes 1 year since my mom had a stroke. So last year, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it, and how I felt, like the things that I went through during that period of time. And I think for the most part, I don't talk about my personal life so much, just because it's a hard balance to share your life with online community and then, still have a personal life. But a year ago, my mom had a stroke. My sister was at work, and I was just about to leave the house to head to work. So this was, I think, somewhat mid-morning, about 11. And my daughter was visiting. She lives on a different island from me. And I don't remember if it was my phone that rang or her phone, but it was my mom's office. She was, I think, like a week out of retirement or going into retirement. And we got the call to come to work because something happened. They didn't say what it was. You could hear on the phone that, that it was something important. They were frantic, possibly because I remember it was on speaker, and the person may have even been crying. So I got there, and she was responsive, but she was not okay. And I don't know how to explain it. She was just not okay. And there was a doctor's office. The doctor came over. They called the ambulance. Somebody had to go in the ambulance with her. And I remember that week I was supposed to go on a trip with some high school friends. And we got to the hospital, and they had to admit her because her blood pressure was elevated, and she wasn't very cohesive. So her mental faculties were it was off. And I lost my father in 2011. And since 2011, we recognized how much, and I think I talked about it in another video, how much or how important it was for our family to have my father. And since my father passed away, you can tell the difference even in my mother's life, the way that she makes decisions, some things that she probably didn't even recognize that she never had to make, although she was always seemed very independent. You can tell that he's no longer around. Some decisions, we can tell that this probably just was not one of the things that she used to do and he took care of. But over time, I'm recognizing that the situations that are happening in families, and it may be happening to you, and you may be somewhere else. You're not in the Bahamas. You may be in Canada. You may be in Europe. You may be in the United States. But there are some things that may be happening in your family, like diabetes, kidney failure, so many myriad of things, and having to manage your own personal life and helping the family. So one of the things after that has happened, as siblings, as a family, we had the first meeting when she was in the hospital. We were outside, my siblings and I, we were outside the hospital in my brother's vehicle, and we planned. And I can't say that we're the best planners, or that we're so proactive, but we recognized in that moment that we had to plan. We had to plan who will take care of her. We had to plan how we're going to manage her finances. We had to take care of or discuss like what she's going to be doing from day to day, because she was in the week of retirement. They had a retirement party, and the next day or something like that, this happened. So we planned. My brother decided that he would be the person, because he lived closest to her, he would be the person that would go to her house every morning to make sure that she is well, regardless of what the outcome. We didn't discuss that, okay, if she isn't well, or she isn't, to this degree, blah, 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 this is what we're going to, no, this is what we're going to do moving forward, because her husband, my father, is no longer around. So she still needs the kind of care and love and support from family members that we didn't recognize that she needed prior to. So I'm just saying, one of the things going through such hard circumstances is coming together as a family and discussing a way forward. We discussed all the things. We had to look at all the things that she needs. She needs groceries. She needs water delivered. She still liked to travel. She still had to go to church. There were so many things that we never had to consider, because she was very independent, and she still is very independent, but with parameters, with boundaries, with our help. Another thing that we put into play since this had happened is allowing her to discuss. We discuss feelings. We discuss openly how we're feeling, what things hurt us from what didn't, especially when we're having conversations. A lot of times in families, we go through circumstances, somebody stepped on somebody else's toes, and you never talk about it. It's almost as if, you pretend like it didn't happen, but it did, and it hurt, and it now may have caused one person to no longer trust the other because of the initial hurt. So we have learned to discuss the things that bother us. So one of the things that I will talk about, or make mention of, because there are different things that all of us talked about as family that bothered us, that we need help with, that we don't want to help the other with, whatever it was, without. Now, when you're having these discussions, I don't want you to think that people are not going to be hurt, or that there isn't going to be some level of discomfort. There was discomfort, but it was better knowing later down the line, that, okay, this person doesn't like this thing, rather than continue doing something that bothered someone, and you keep having these arguments, these heated arguments back and forth. So for my immediate family, my siblings and my mother, and my daughter, she's usually a part of these things as well, we discussed what we are capable of helping with and what we're not going to do. Like, I have very, very clear boundaries. I don't like I made it very clear, I don't like people just showing up to the house. It's a Bahamian thing. Since I moved back here, that has been something that people do. Like, they show up, they are in your area, they thought about you, so they just drive to your house, but they don't send a little text, or just to see, like, what you're dealing with or how your day is going. And my mom is very much that way. Just show up, and it's, you know, they think in their mind that it's cool. But to me, it's, I didn't prepare for guests. Financially, I may have only bought, you know, whatever groceries or whatever it is, and now you're here, and now I can't entertain you like I want to. Or even sometimes it's like I don't have the mental capacity because now I need to rest. Like I need to mentally just escape from all of these things that are happening. And so that has been, I think that's two things that I talked about. That has been two things that as a family we dealt with. So one, ensuring that we support each other, we helped each other, but also being aware of other people's feelings. So we discussed what the other person is going through. So dealing with family situations, they are two things that helped us during this year, that allowed us to continue to be well and healthy mentally. And then self-care. So of course I am in health and wellness, so I am a therapist, but I can't say that I got a lot of massage. I'll be clear with that one. I think the main things for me throughout this year had been meditation. I talk a lot about meditation because it's something that I didn't fully understand, and it always was in the secular world, more so in yoga. And now that I found meditation in Christ, I feel like it really, really took me through this year of that could have been frustrating, overwhelming, and really, really hard, because it could put a mental toll on someone. I saw on social media, I don't know, I can't remember the person's name, and if I do, I'll try to tag her. But she was the person that really made me feel okay with sharing what I am dealing with. So this person, her mom has Alzheimer's, or dementia. I'm not sure which one of the two. But she just showed clips of moving back to the Bahamas. I don't have any clips of when I moved or me packing and moving back here, but she showed moving back to the Bahamas, leaving her corporate job, and having to take care of her mother, who now has dementia, doesn't recognize her at times, and she has to fully take care of her. And when I saw her video, there were a couple of things that came to mind. The fact that I think sometimes in our communities, we don't realize what somebody else is going through. We don't know, because maybe even for us who's going through the thing, we don't discuss it. Like, nobody can understand what you're going through unless you say it or it is known in some way. And I think it goes back to some of those memes and posts that people show that call the friend that is the strongest one, because they're the ones that usually go through a lot, or something like that. And I think for the most part, I've always been, you know, an independent person, off on my own, not really, I can't say that I had emerged myself into no communities until now, into my church community, but I've always been that person on my own. And I can't say that I had friends that would always call and check on me. I was the one that did the calling and checking up on. So I think during this year, it made me realize that I needed community. I needed support. I needed more than what I had before. Not me. I couldn't reach out to the friends anymore. I needed the support. And it was okay. I made myself okay with asking for help. And that's another thing. Like, whatever it is that you're going through, know that there's somebody else that understands, and find people that can support you. Not everyone can support you. Not all families are like ours, or understanding, or, I mean, even in this, there were other things that were happening, you know, like just outside of our immediate family, that caused great strain and frustration. But even with that, we supported each other. We discussed what we were feeling. We discussed what was going on and how we were going to move forward. But your family may not be the same, but try to find a community of people. It may not be in your church. It may be in a civic group. It might be a group that you may need to create. I've created or started to create a community called Bougie and Well, but this year I could not focus on really creating that structure just because the dynamics of what we were not sure of didn't allow me the time to do that, especially given that I still had to work. I still had to pay rent. I still had to take care of myself. But your dynamics may be a lot different. And another thing that, because all of this is outside of reading your word, praying, and like I said, I meditated. So even beyond, I have a routine that every Saturday, Eastern Standard Time at 11 a.m., I meditate. Outside of that, I try to meditate at least 10 to 15 minutes in the morning when I first get up, and maybe 5 minutes at night. So I take an exercise mat, put it on the floor, I lie down on the floor, listen to Hour of Meditation by Dr. Emmanuel Adeusi. I will put the description, I'll put it in the description there. But if you've never meditated, you don't know what you're missing out on. Like, I feel like the first few months when I started meditating, I would black out. Like, I would go. I could hear everything that's around me. I could hear what's happening, but I would literally just go. And I knew that in those times, it was like God working on my heart. And I feel like I want to cry just thinking about during those times when it was so uncertain, because after losing my dad, I had to keep telling my mom, I can't lose you. Like, don't do this. Like, what is going on? What are you feeling? And believe it or not, as Christians, we have to understand that mental health is real. We have to take care of ourselves, physical, mental, emotional health. And praying is not the only way to take care of your health. There are times that you may need to see a mental health professional. And be okay with discussing what you're feeling. Your body, your mind, your spirit needs the support as well, just as much as you need spiritual support. So I would say, for me, I kept up with having a mentor, having somebody who I discussed what I was feeling during those times, especially within that first couple months. And it was hard because I wasn't sure which direction like things were gonna go. And initially, I remember I would look in my mom's eyes and would almost seem as if she didn't know who I was. Like, you know, when you look at somebody who knows you and who recognizes you, you can see like that they recognize you, that there's something there. And I think it was at least 2 months. There was like 2 months or a bit that it was just blank. There was no joy. It didn't seem like anything. And it hurt so much to look in her face and see how much she's changed. And that one event, she's lost weight. Her facial features look different. Like, her eyes are different. And so it was an adjustment for all of us. And we recognized it and we talked about it. And we talked about it with her and we asked her how she felt with even us telling her about those things. So it's a lot of communicating, a lot of being transparent, understanding, and forming community. I want to also say that with taking care of yourself, it may look different for you. For me, it was meditation and steaming up a shower. But for you, you may need a soak. You may need a walk on the beach. And I did take walks as well. there was a time I was very into running. I would go jogging. I don't think I've done that within the year. I mean, I've done it once or twice. Now I go to spin class. Like, you need to take care of yourself, especially if you are the caregiver. You need to find ways, if it's an hour, if it's a day, to pull away from the thing that you have to do, the person that you have to take care of, the family that you have to support, whatever it is. But you have to step away to take care of you. So I think that's all I want to talk about in this video. If there are any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section. Like I said, if you're interested in Hour of Meditation, you can find it on social media platforms, YouTube at Hour of Meditation. And so that's like 1 hour of meditating. The lead, Dr. Emmanuel, discusses how you meditate, why you should meditate, and the myriad of different things that you may be experiencing. And I think it for me was very educational, the way that he explains it initially, and then you go into meditation and he explains like the different forms of it, like how you could visualize, how you when you're meditating, like you can actually see the different things and the things that you're experiencing. So I think for me that was very beneficial, because even in understanding dreams and understanding like what my body's experiencing during the time of meditation, was because it was new, it was good to at least have an understanding of what this all meant. But like I said, if you have any questions, you can find me on any social media platforms, or you can send me a direct message, and I will see you in the next video. Peace in, y'all.